Hello again, everybody. Here from the shop in Sawmill Designs. So got a little update on the Shop Saber. So I made this sign here for a Lutheran Bible camp here about, that was this fall, probably about 3 or 4 months ago. And I'll show you the sign. It's this sign here. Pretty detailed sign. I think it took something like, let's see here, how many hours was it? I think about 12 hours to cut it, just because it was so detailed on the small print. Sorry about the camera work here. But I ran the first main tool path for removing the bulk material, and that took, I don't know, 2 hours, and it come back to the middle of the sign, which is the very center of the signs where the XY started, and I saw right away it was off at least 1/4 inch. So right away, if you see my previous video from over a year ago, I'm thinking this main spindle cable is interfering, causing interference with the rest of the stepper motor cables. So I called Shop Saber. I said, of course I couldn't get a hold of the main tech guy, which was Ben. I don't know if he upgraded or he doesn't deal with little guys like me anymore. I don't know the specifics of that, but I couldn't get a hold of Ben, so they had to go through the whole 9 yards of having me check everything. And I'm like, guys, I've already done this a year ago. If you can look up the history of what we were doing before and the problems we had before, this is exact same thing. It's jogging because something's interfering with the stepper motor cables, is my opinion on it, because that is exactly what happened last time. So he wanted me to try everything, and I ran a bunch of tests, had it come back to XY zeroed out, but it wasn't running in the material. It was running above it. It ran the whole tool path of what we were doing in the air, not pulling, and it come back to XY. And I said, well, how reliable are these cables? Are they good quality cables? Especially that spindle cable that's supposed to be shielded to control that interference. And they said, yeah, these are really good cables. So I said, well, I don't know how many times a cable can bend, and that shielding is smaller, it's thinner than tin foil. It's really thin. So I mean, I can only bend so many times before it's just going to crack open, and you're going to lose that interference out of that shielding. So ran the tests. I said, I'm just going to neutralize the problem and isolate it. And you can see up there, right there, I ran a cable tracking on the ceiling, and that is the main cable to run the spindle. So I didn't even call him back. I was already on the phone with him for on and off and emails for a week. And I was like, obviously this is a problem. I don't know how I'm the only one that's having this problem. And it is not an issue with the power issue from the shop. Everything on the shop side's fine, so it's got to be that cable. So that's what I did. I isolated the problem. I ran the cable up. You can see it goes right up through there and over on the wall and down over to my VFD. And that allows it to travel the whole distance for the CNC and has plenty of room for movement. So it's not like Shop Saber wouldn't help me. I asked them if it was still under warranty, since it only has a year warranty on the actual CNC itself. And they said we could probably do something for you, even though this issue was less than a year ago that we finally resolved it. Or yeah, about more than a year ago when we resolved this issue. So I don't know if anybody can reply to what I've gone through, or anybody has the same instance of what I've done. But I isolated the problem, haven't had a problem since. It has been running long programs, and I have not had one problem since I isolated it with that cable on the ceiling. So it just kind of leads me to believe that that shielding must be really cheap, or that cable is really cheap. But they say it's a pretty good cable. If anybody knows anything about it, please let me know. But that's the issue I'm having. Otherwise, everything else has been great. The tech service at least answers, but the guys that I deal with, they're not up on the history of what the problem I've had. And I understand they have to go through their process of eliminating the steps to find the problem. But at the same time, I've already done this for a month prior to having this last incident a year ago. But if anybody knows anything about it, let me know. But that's how I solved that problem. And I cross my fingers, hope I don't have any more problems with that cable. Thanks for watching.